Folks, welcome to this episode of Product Like It's Friday, an official Friday Product Like It's Friday episode that's being done on a Thursday because this is the first Friday where we will not be. Yeah, this is the first Friday we're going to miss, technically. And one thing I want to come clean about right off the bat is generally when I'm coming on stream, I'll at least try and wash my face. I'll be like, hey, this is going to be recorded for many years on YouTube. Even if nobody watches it, I should at least wash my face. I did not do that today. I'll get even more disgusting. Just you wait. I will also sometimes I'll look at my beard. I'm like, this and then I might like just take scissors and chop this thing off because I'm like, it's sticking too far. Look at it. What is this? Or clip my nose hair. None of that was done today. I just want you to know that I just this is how I woke up. Okay. I did wash my face earlier in the day. I'm just saying. Sorry, what was that, Mary?
You're coming clean about not coming clean.
Exactly. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not saying it makes any difference. I don't think anyone would have ever noticed. They'd just be like, you just look like your natural dirty self. Your regular dirty Adnan self. But you know what? I notice. I know in my heart. And I feel insecure. So I wanted to come clean about my insecurities. And now that they're out there, they're out there. I think that's part of what I wanted with streaming as well, which is that kind of level of preparedness sometimes would have prevented me from doing that. I'd be like, I'm not, versus so just get ready for me slowly to get more and more disgusting looking as I lower my standards for
Is it
presentability.
Because it's not a Friday?
No, it's just me being, just distracted by a bunch of different things and not quite getting it together generally. But yeah, the Friday might have helped. Who knows? We're very routine-based people. So, and I realize now that my AirPods, the batteries in them is super low. So at some point, I might have to switch to a different. I have other. I should probably charge this other one. It's fine. We'll figure it out. We'll do it live. How are you, Mary?
I'm good. I'm very I feel like I've had a lot of outside of work, outside of PLIF things going on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And last night was the first time that I feel like I had an inch of breathing room. And it was nice.
Okay, so
it was nice.
You don't have to answer this question. But then was last night, would you have considered it's complicated as an answer? Last night, given what, because historically, when we've asked, you've said it's complicated.
No, I think last night probably would have been the first time that I would put myself on the slider.
On the scale, okay. And you having said that, last time I ended up by saying that I was going to look at deploying it, and I did not do that. So please hold me accountable.
I will say, I think the last week or so, there have been quite a few times that I'm like, oh, I wish I can use Cocoon.
Really? Okay, so then
there's demand.
For single user demand, which is what the whole entire goal of this thing was. Okay, so then I guess let me share my screen, and unless you have anything else, well, I could share my screen and you could have other things, both simultaneous.
I don't think I have anything right now. Maybe stuff will come up as we go.
Okay. One thing now where are we? Are we on? There we are. Now we're smaller. It's even great because it's harder to notice these inconsistencies in my face, like my dry eyes. All those things become less relevant, which is great. One thing I forgot to check about. You're probably like, why is he talking about this right now? But one thing I forgot to check on was whether there was any peanut butter in my beard. There might be. I don't know, because I haven't eaten anything all day actually, because I was in between things, and then so I got like 2 spoonfuls of peanut butter right before we started, and so I'm without even, again, because I didn't wash my face. It's just, anyway, here we are.
Like, is there anything?
Is there? Don't look. Don't look at me. Okay. So the last time we were here, we had completed this, and Mary actually had homework, now that I remember, and I'm not sure whether she did it, which would be a very un-Mary-like thing to do, is to try and prompt our friend AI with text here that will result in a set of or filtered preset things that are related, or maybe the idea is that we only have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 preset ones, and that's the way things are.
I did not do my homework.
You did not do your homework, so
because I didn't write them down. I think that's the problem.
I think we need an AI tool to hold us accountable for the next task. So I didn't create a deployed environment, and you didn't do that other thing.
But I did have some like loose thoughts on like other categories, so maybe I'll tie those together in the background, unless you need them now.
No, I don't. Everything is fine for now. Let me recollect where I am here and how far we got here. I think I don't entirely remember now whether, like, I know obviously we didn't implement this. What I do like is my previous selections are available, and even my text is available as I'm here. So that's nice. And then I guess, the interaction here is a bit weird. So I wouldn't mind actually fixing that, because now we have a skip button even though I entered some text. So the moment I do enter text or record something, then this skip should actually say continue. So let me do that. And then let me check here whether I have themes and what my themes page is showing. So I did kind of throw these elements on the theme page, but these are not generated in any way with relation to what was on the previous screen. They might still not be, but at least we'll get these functional. So that's our next step right now, is to start here with the skip button and then continue with kind of simulating these and just making them. I guess my question for you, Mary, here is, I know you said that they would always be a set, kind of like AI would not be generating new ones on the go, that you did intend for these to be a fixed set. Is that still correct? Okay.
I think so.
Given that's correct, are these all the options, or are there more in your mind?
There are more in my mind, and I was also thinking, because originally I was like, oh, like maybe these are just like literally a word or a phrase, but then I also thought about like maybe there are different categories, like because like children, friends, partner are like people, like it's to do with relationships,
Right.
And then there's things that are more like internal to someone's inner workings, I guess, like fitness, health, identity, stuff like that. Is more like your relationship with yourself. So I
see.
might propose something, but you can also be like, that's too much, man.
No, I think so. But your idea being that you want to subcategorize these potentially
in the background, I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, so there would be potentially more here, do you intend these to be filtered based on what was there before, or should the ones on the screen always show the full set?
I was thinking. I was thinking it should show whatever is detected, and then maybe having an option to like expand to see the rest.
The rest? Okay, got it. And then um, should these be pre-selected by AI? Yes? Is that the idea? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So while I'm kind of working on some interactive elements, I wouldn't mind you potentially playing around with just ChatGPT, I suppose, because that's the one that we'll start with. And um and trying to maybe get that functional in some way. It doesn't have to be in a programmatic way, but you can come up with a fake journal entry or a real one that you're willing to share, because then I would put it into the thing. So a fake one in that scenario. And then yeah, we'll try and do that jump and actually integrate AI here. And
So like the idea is like giving it like here are the themes that we're looking to detect from this journal entry.
you could give it the full set of themes, and then ask it to give you two sets of themes. One, which is the ones that it would pre-select that relate to the text, and then two, it would want to show alongside like the unselect. So in this case, because we see these still, maybe there is a loose relation, but not so. One set where where it feels there's a strong relation, another set where it feels like there's a loose relation, and then that's really it. And then they'll give us the ones that we want to show on the screen, and then they'll give us the ones that we want pre-selected. And then I can, when we get to this part, I can reuse that prompt and maybe modify it a little bit here and there in order to give us something a bit more programmatic that then can be used. But that's where we can begin. Okay, I will actually take this second to charge my things here. My things, I say, but my AirPods and my other.
How are you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, I went to the dentist today, so that's really how I'm doing, which I feel like is fairly self-explanatory. That should be, I feel like, a feeling here. Dentist.
Yeah.
You don't think? I feel like the missing. Had my braces adjusted, and so you know how it is.
That's fun.
I did not look up the case where I was like, look, there was a stream where I did not have braces, and the next stream I had braces. I don't know if that statement is entirely true to begin, and then I don't know. I didn't go look for that stream either, so that just remains.
Look at the streams, but I did look at our chat history. Because I was like, I need to know if this happened before or after. And I think it happened before, like before we started it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's totally possible. Look, I did leave room open for being wildly incorrect on this thing. So
it was not wildly incorrect, but it was incorrect.
So you think I started with braces?
I mean, it was March. Okay. It was end of March that you said you got braces. And I think we started in April, I think.
Can we go see? I'm sorry, this is
you know to validate
what has happened here. Um, of kindness. Ugh. 153 subscribers for so long, Mary. Just no growth. Stagnant.
That's because we're not doing things in between, I think.
Yeah, that's probably why. Or maybe the content that we're doing on a weekly basis is just not up to par. I don't know why you have to
That
put a
could be it
positive
too.
spin on
That could be
everything.
it too.
Okay. Let's go to the live videos and let's look at this. People have to look at our faces instead of the thumbnail. I just want to. Sorry, I don't even know why I'm doing that. I don't know why I'm being so mean. Oh, there's no date here, so I have to click through. I have to press pause, otherwise I have to hear myself.
Why is there no date? Oh, there is a date. If you
Yeah,
hover.
Yeah. April 11th. And do I have braces on here already? Open your mouth, dude. It's not clear. This is so terrible. I don't even know why I did this. This is a very bad idea. Okay. I don't know why I did that.
Must be a Thursday thing.
Yeah, 100%. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. All I want now is if there is text in the journal entry. So if the journal entry is empty, so I'll just have a const is entry empty. That looks good to me, and I'll leverage that. Yeah, that's fine. If we'll just do this, and then we'll do that, and let's come down here and modify that skip button. And all it is here, it it's going to do the same thing either way, but all it is that we want this to be programmatically determined. It's not finish, it's continue. And now we can verify that because it says continue here. And if I remove these, it'll say skip. And so the moment I start typing, I have feelings. It'll turn to continue, and then it needs to go somewhere. To themes. I'm just trying to think how. Yeah, so I think I'll on click, I'll still do process journal entry here. And this function will take us to the next page. And the reason I'm adding a function here is well, I'll just accept what we have here. I do want something very similar to this. So in this case, I want themes. And here, it's not so much save mood snapshot, since it's already saved, technically, as is being edited here. And then the browser. What I want here is to, and I'll just leave a comment here, send entry to OpenAI to get themes. So the idea would be that we would, over here, connect with OpenAI, get the themes, and then continue. So it would be a backend call here. And this is the first time we're hitting any kind of a backend, because everything thus far has been stored in the browser. Which means very quickly, I do want to So it's not here. It would have to be here. This is where the backend will exist. Okay, great. That was just for me to build context in my head. Okay, so now if I click process journal entry, it's just going to skip that and take me to theme straight away. And for now, we'll just assume that there's a fixed set of themes and leverage it off of there. So I do want to do some of that right now where I want to maybe have a set list of themes. First, before I get there, I'll just replace this, which continues in from here. So from the journal page, let's take a look. Selected feelings are being displayed here in this tag list, and I'm just going to copy this tag list wholesale, look for selected feelings here, paste, just compare the code. Yeah, that looks right. So I can get rid of that, and then I can get rid of this because all of this is being stored. I can also just get rid of this. None of those are being used here. And then we just have the themes here. So now when I come back, my saved themes are being showed here. And now I want these to, well, let's see. Right now, it's just a name and a brief and an icon. And I think that's fine for now. Mary has shared something with me. Is this ready to go live?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's assisted by ChatGPT.
Okay, yeah. Let's take a look here.
I don't know if like.
Oh, so this is your complete theme set?
I don't know if it's complete, but it's.
Your starting theme set, yeah. Would you, if you don't mind doing one extra thing? Oh, but you don't have the filtering prompt just yet.
No.
Okay, so that's the next thing. But another thing I might add here is it doesn't have to be done now, but how do I do this? Oh, plus icon. If there's a related icon, just because it is in the design, and a few of them are very obvious ones. So what I'll do is I will actually copy the existing set and I'll add icons to the obvious ones. But like I think the prompt to filter and pre-select is more important right now.
Okay.
And then because the icon we can fill it in later and get a sense of it. So. Yep. Okay, so what I want to do is maybe actually store these in the store as like const predefined themes, and it's just a set, and later on this might even come from the server side. Trying to think what I want to do. There's two ways I could approach this. One is very Vim-like. I can say, like in my head, it's not very clear how I would do this. I'm just going to play around a little bit. It might not work, but let's see. name, and then we'll say this, and then we'll have category, and then we'll say that, and then we'll have icon, and we'll just leave it empty for now. And then icon. And now, having done that to that one line, I can do it to all of them and set it. And now I have converted that into a JSON object. The other way to do it is to use AI, which I kind of want to, I'm curious, I want to try. Like, I mean, that took what, a few seconds, right? I mean, pasted, I made a regex thing and I got it. So what if I said, although now AI does have a very clear, distinct clue here, but I think it'll do a pretty good job of this kind of a thing. Convert above list to an array of JSON objects with name, category, and icon. Leave icon as empty string for now. Come on. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Did it do it correctly? Yeah, it did. Yeah, it looks like it. I'm just eyeballing here. Yeah. I feel replaced already. I feel like, why am I here? You know? And that took the same amount of time almost too.
How do you feel about AI these days?
Are you asking because you already know and you want me to expose my answer on the public internet, or are you asking out of raw curiosity? Expose your intention, Mary.
Does it matter?
It matters to me.
Why not both?
Yeah, I mean, I think where we are right now with certain changes, like, so earlier, I think I still have this largely similar ethical concerns with AI. And it's hard for me to categorize them because how hypocritical is it to say, oh, there's ethical concerns here and still use the technology on a daily basis, right? So there's that kind of weirdness that still exists. In terms of its capacity to do certain tasks, like I use it all the time. So for example, when you've seen me do things like this and you see this autocomplete that's come up here, this like texture that's being generated by AI, that's probably my largest use case, and it has been for many months. And then there's things like this typically where I still kind of leverage what I know, because I feel like this actually takes me longer to do than this. But AI has gotten very good at doing this kind of a thing, where before it would make a lot more mistakes. Certainly it's gotten better and more accurate. Previously, I would expect it to maybe not. It might miss something, or it might misspell something, or what have you. And then it still gets things wrong about 30, maybe 20% of the time. But one thing that significantly changed my usage is I'd never tried Cursor or Windsurf, which were sort of these popular upcoming interfaces, and they did a lot more than what I have integrated here, right? Like what I have here is not that great of an agent. And so it's more like input output, like you would use in a ChatGPT window. But I did try some agents before. I tried Google's Jules. I tried Replit. and I think one more. Like I tried, V0 and Lovable, not Lovable, but something else like Blitz. I want to something Bolt. Sorry, Bolt. And like all of them left something to be desired at a higher level in terms of building context and understanding, like all of them. But I never tried Cursor and Windsurf, which allegedly were getting better and better at building better context and taking the time to build that context or doing a better job of building that context. And then recently I came across a YouTube video where somebody was demoing Claude Code. And looking through that, I was a little kind of curious and I had to immediately try it out for myself. And I thought Cloud Code did an excellent job of trying to build context as a good developer would. Maybe not as a great developer just yet, but definitely as a very good developer. And the ability to build the context while being able to accurately do certain tasks can create a loop. Like if the AI is able to high level understand what you want, at least for like very concentrated tasks for now, and then able to write the code, able to find other places in the code where that thing is relevant or build context. Like we can probably give it the Cocoon code and ask it to do something and it'll be pretty good at it because it will look for references in all the files or all the relevant files. It's really good at searching through the code bases. And that loop is very much like how a developer or a good developer might behave. Like, hey, I'm aware of these variables. Let me see in the code where else they're being used, or let me build that context by searching for this context. And that allows it to take something that is maybe, only good 60, 70% of the time. And adding that loop helps it fix itself. Because it's like, hey, I wrote this code. Let me test this code. Oh, the code doesn't do what we wanted. Let me go edit the code. And sometimes it's really bad, but most of the times it's actually pretty decent, to a point where I would consider now making that part of my daily coding routine, at least for work. I liken it to this. It's like one thing I really dislike about it, in fact, I hate about it, is my job then becomes to be a code reviewer versus a coder. Because now I'm kind of working in a loop with AI to review it and be like, oh, you missed this, go take a look.
Yeah,
Or, which I would do with, sorry, what was that?
Yeah, just the manager.
Yeah. I dislike that on a variety of levels. One, which is, but I do it with another human. Like you get the very human interaction of being like, oh, they're going to learn from this experience and it's going to improve them. Or I learned something by reading the code, what have you. I'm not getting that by giving AI feedback. I'm not giving, like I don't get this idea of like human growth. The AI might be growing, but I don't find that rewarding. Like, okay, fine. Like, so that aspect, I don't like the aspect of becoming a code reviewer. I don't like the aspect of describing in detail what I want because I'd rather just code it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I have to go into I feel like it's so slow and cumbersome to type out in detail what I want as a coder. I can imagine if you're a non-coder and then you get the result, that's amazing, right? Like, because you got that becomes the new coding potentially. As a coder, what I dislike about it is it's taking away the aspect I enjoy, which is coding. Debugging and going through all that, which partially you have to do anyway, because again, the whole thing maybe still gets you to an 80% level, leaving out I could be very explicit with my instructions and it will still leave me with it'll delete lines of code when it shouldn't have. And then unless I'm watching very carefully, so I have to become a very good code reviewer. And then I'm like, man, but on other times where there's grunt work involved, something like this I would say is grunt work, right? But think of this type of grunt work at 100x scale, which can happen in code bases. Humans can't compete with that level of speed. There's just no like, maybe certain bugs I can fix faster than an AI right now. But if I had to make this kind of grunt work change on 100 different files, this is just, it's not like, you can't beat this. There's no competition. Um, and accuracy is still an issue, but as it's improving, yeah, I can definitely see, which I don't like. I don't like the idea of my job becoming a code reviewer exclusively as a coder. I mean, I've done it as like, when you're a team lead, maybe you're not coding as much and you are reviewing, but then again, at least there's that human interaction. I don't know how I feel about becoming a code reviewer for a machine. It's not good, I can tell you that. But do I like the results I get without having to do all this grunt work on these 100 files? Absolutely. Also, I can't lie about that either. So it's kind of this very like conflicting thing right now. Yeah, it's getting better. Yeah. Those are my general high level thoughts. What do you think?
I think it's interesting to watch. I don't know. I feel like your thoughts have evolved over time in
Yeah,
both
because
directions. I think.
yeah, well, my AI disdain, so ethically still remains the same.
Yeah.
But in terms of functionality, it wasn't based on some like core hate of AI, for example. It was really reflective of the state of it. Like, I'm just projecting the state versus like injecting my opinion. I might say it in a more animated fashion, of course, but I'm not going to lie to myself about its improvements either. You know what I mean? Like, I have to deal with, I think back then I was dealing with what I was experiencing, and now I'm dealing with what I'm really just describing in an animated fashion what I'm experiencing. Um, which is what I would expect, right? Like, what am I supposed to do? Hold on to an opinion I had before, even though reality has changed, which is what a lot of people do a lot of the times. That's most opinions most of the times, actually. But it would seem silly for me to not come to terms with that. Yeah, like, and I wonder what it does to replacing. It's the feedback loop that's improved. I think the raw AI coding is probably very similar, but injecting that feedback loop, as I think Cursor, Windsurf, I still don't know how they work. I haven't seen them yet, but definitely Claude Code and how it works. I tried Gemini as well, and it wasn't that great. Claude Code probably was the first one that was like, oh yeah, I see where this could go, because that loop itself is what enables it to be better. I don't know if the underlying technology has necessarily improved, but yeah, part of that will be part of these tool sets, which is like better feedback loops for itself.
Are we
Yeah,
going to use more AI here?
I don't know. That's the debate, right? Which is like, I don't want to. I'll tell you that, and here's why. It's like, if I enjoy driving, and now there's an automated car, I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I'm gonna get in the automated car to go get groceries.
Mhm.
But if I want to, I don't like driving, first of all, at all. Like, just to clarify, my personal opinion on driving. But now, if I want to drive for fun somewhere, like go out for a joyride, would I want an auto? Like, you know what? It would
True.
then defeat the purpose, then, wouldn't it? Like, what's your goal with?
So
Like,
maybe then it's like just for grunt work type things.
maybe not, maybe even not, maybe when you're doing it for fun, like, you go through the
But
process.
you just did it. You just used it for this.
I did, although this is a very small example, honestly. Like, this is a very tiny example of AI usage, although I did it first, by the way.
Oh, true,
um
true.
and in order to be transparent, I was like, hey, let's actually demonstrate how this thing would happen here. Another thing, for example, that can be done. Watch this. Change the name key to label.
Damn. Okay, that's cool. Like, okay, I type pretty fast, so maybe not for me, but
I think it depends
that's
on
cool
how
though.
much sometimes you need to type in order to give a description of
Yeah, I
something.
guess if there's a lot of context.
Yeah. So like I'm happy to experiment with things. So this was just using Mac's own dictation tooling. So it works on any text entry thing. So if this was a browser, it would work. I just have a shortcut here. I trigger it and then I, do that. And then I think this is also a point of a loop. And I've said this before. I think what would be super interesting as well is if something was always recording what I was saying in the background and kind of getting the relevant parts of it already. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, and then we'll go here and we'll do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to say it and type it. What are you doing? Like, why don't you read my mind? Because I literally said it out loud without me having to press a shortcut first. And trigger that, like, versus just keep listening to me. Parse out the relevant things, like, so ignore me talking about peanut butter in my beard and focus on me talking about what steps I need to take in the program next, which AI is pretty decent at, and then present it to me automatically as I'm, discussing it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
But
Would
you
I
don't
want to
want
use
that.
it? Pardon me?
But you don't want that here.
It's the. Do you want that here?
Not overly. I
But a
feel
little
like
bitly.
I want there to be a parallel universe where this happens.
I think we can try it, of course, like we did before, right? And to see like what that interface changes like with the Claude code. I've not done anything from scratch in Claude code, which might actually be heightening my opinion of it because it might be different if I did it from scratch. But definitely, it's very good at reading existing code bases and trying to do better. Like it's better at that than what we saw with like Replit or whatever else. Even as popular as Replit is, and I'm sure Replit will get better at that kind of thing as well. But yeah, like a slow shift is happening. I don't know when that entire turning point will be. I still don't think it's quite there. I think you'll definitely get there when I can feed it a screenshot of a Figma file or a Figma file and get it to do an excellent job of converting that. Right now, it's still very wonky. I tried with Claude Code the other day. Like there was, because sometimes I want to give it just some simple things. So I was like, hey, here's how good I want it to be. Okay, I know we're diverging now in this discussion, but here's how good I want it had to be. I looked at the screen on the thing that I was working on. I was like, look, this header text is so close to the button above it. Like as a person looking at that, it bugs me. So I'm like, I need to fix that. So instead of just adding some margin and fixing it and being done with it, I took a screenshot. And then I fed it to Claude Code and I said, does something bother you about this? Because that's the sense I wanted to get, right? Like, I mean, like, so what? I'm going to tell it to add padding or tell it to add margins? Why? I feel like the whole point of using a machine should be hyper extra over. Now, obviously, this is hyper extra. Don't get me wrong. It's very good. The technology is very good. But I want it to be like even better, to be like, hey, that button looks like it's really close. Let me look at the code to see what the pattern of margin is on every element, and let me add similar margin to that. That's like, instead it looked at other things on the screenshot, and it was like, it did those. So I was like, okay, other than that, tell me, is there anything else, wink, wink, on here that's bugging you? And it couldn't get it. And then I was like, oh, dude, I'm talking about this. Don't you think, like, when you look at that like, look at the distance between those two elements. Doesn't that bug you? And I'm like, can you fix it? And then it tried to fix it and it didn't fix it. It was the simplest thing to do. You know what I mean? So as amazing as it is on like some very complicated tasks, it's also very silly at some very simple tasks as well, and vice versa. So it's just, there's a lot of juggling before we get to any,
It's funny. It reminds me of at one workplace I worked at. I met a lot of senior devs who were like, they preferred the more complicated work, and they were like, if you tell me to center a button, I can't do it. And I'm just like, why?
I can't do it. I'm sure they could figure out how to do it. They're lying. I feel like that sounds like a lie. I can't do it from memory might be true. I can't do it at all ever seems like, come on, what are we doing?
This was pre-AI days. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they are leveraging AI for
No,
this.
yeah. I mean, you could leverage, like, I think, as this technology becomes better and cheaper, maybe, because I don't know if it can continue to be cheap, just given its footprint. But I mean, the flip side of it is like, it's like me saying I like riding horses, therefore I'm not going to use cars, which is weird, right? Like, what are you talking about? And ultimately, the culture and society will move past that. Like, we don't talk about horses anymore. And maybe that's the stream that will, go towards, like, even things like, so if I turn off my Copilot, for example, I have certain forms of autocomplete. So let's say I wanted to type out current mood snapshot, right? I would come here and I'll do CMS, and already you can see a menu pop out. I press tab, that's done. That's also artificial intelligence. It's not a large language model that's driving it, which is what we synonymize with AI these days.
Yeah.
But technically, any improvement is artificial intelligence in a sense, regardless of whether it's LLM or not. And so obviously there's a difference between what we accept easily and what we kind of oppose. I'm just even talking from my own sense. And definitely, though, this has a much better hit rate than other things did in the past, right? So having said that, come on, what am I going to code without Copilot? What is this? But yeah, those are my general loose thoughts on. I think they're very similar than what they were before, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
I guess you have just played with it more now.
No, disagree. The core of my thoughts are the same, right? But the outcome, like the philosophy behind my thoughts, has remained very the same. The outcome is different because the technology has changed. Versus, like, I think I'm very still true to my philosophical thoughts from the beginning, actually. So I actually view my position as a very consistent one, oddly enough, even though it has changed. If I know that might sound weird.
No, it makes sense.
But okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I might use AI to do these kinds of things, like the grunt work here. Although
I think that makes sense.
Even that I found fun to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
even now, like however many years later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is there something in design you're like, ugh, after all these years, ugh, I don't want to.
I want, and this is actually something that I should explore with AI. I love design system, hate doing the work.
Got it. Yeah.
Like that's the part. Like I want AI to collect all the design components of the product, point out the inconsistencies, fix them if they exist. Yeah, and document them somewhere.
Documentation is another thing that it's fairly is it perfect? No. Is it fairly decent? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like, definitely the progression in technology has flipped my outcome of how I view it, for sure, no doubt. Like, um,
Okay, that's
having that said, I have a set of predefined themes. I might quickly, like, here. Okay, here's another example of what we might be able to do. And here I will use the suggestions, and it may or may not be right. So here, let me try this. Um, okay, so I have one example here. And then what I'm going to ask it to do is to fill out the rest. Fill out the icon field with related Lucid icons. Because I was like, oh, should I go and search for them myself? Or do we just use what's here? And so we'll take what's here and see whether all these, we did this with honeypot, something similar, and like half the icons didn't exist because it made them up. So we'll see whether these are real. And then I guess I'll come here and we'll just take, I gotta export these, and I'll show everything to begin. Yeah. And let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, so I mean, they're not icons for everything, but I think it got, so just missed one, friendship, which makes, and partner. So friendship and partner, but I guess I'm not going to focus on that for now, but it seems to have grabbed this for work. This was the one we gave it. Education, that's pretty good. Travel, amazing. Weather, yeah. Current events, yeah. Money, yeah, that's a wallet. Community, yeah. Hobby, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, like, come on, that's actually pretty good. So what, like, am I supposed to now, having this tool available, go look for each individual icon? That's a hard trade-off, I'll tell you.
also not something that I personally enjoy.
They're doing, yeah.
I don't dislike it, but it's definitely not something that I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I gotta just, because I'd asked you to do it. I literally, not half an hour ago, asked you to do it.
Yeah. Instead, we ranted about AI.
Okay, but then we used it.
Exactly.
Which you could have done. I mean, just because you could have used AI to fill that out either.
Yeah.
That's your fault that you thought how I didn't say individually go pick out icons.
Yeah. True.
That's funny. Okay, so now I want to register these clicks. And I feel like I need to have, similar to have selected feelings, I need to have selected themes. Let's see. Let's use AI because Mary wants it. Something weird. Oh, okay. I was like, something weird is happening because I never initialized the Git repo. So let's do that. Let's actually just commit everything wholesale. Forgot to create Git repo. Now committing code progress. And the reason I wanted to do that is because, first of all, I just want to check everything looks fine. Is because before I ask it to do anything and then modify the code, I just want to make sure that I can blow its changes away. And so, okay, so now I'm going to open. So this is not Claude Code, for example. It's just what's built. One of the plugins. Like I actually have like 3 or 4 different AI plugins right now. Because like, because I want to test it. I just want to see. I want to learn from what's happening versus my opinion kind of being fixed in time. So here I'm going to give it access to the code and just also give it access to, I'm not just give it access to code, but I'm giving it access to do things to the code. So it can run commands or whatever. I've asked it to take a look at this code. And so now it's processed it and it has some sense of what it does. And then I'm going to say similar to, maybe I can speak it out. Similar to how I have selected feelings, I want to add selected themes. Go ahead and make that change. I wonder if I could tell it to, yeah, I should be. One thing I'm disappointed is it didn't like, it's like, would you like to define a specific type for themes, or is string array sufficient for now? And this is poor. And this is just maybe the plugin I'm using. So this is a poor use because it should already, I already told it to take a look at the code. And if as a developer, I took a look at this code, I would not be asking this question. I would just use the type here. So now I have to give it feedback. And instead of giving a human this feedback, I'm giving a machine. This is the weird part of it. This is the part I don't like. Like, if it's a machine, it should have done it well to start. Why am I having to give it a very, like,
Yeah,
it actually
pay attention.
Yeah, like, what are we doing? So use the type of the predefined themes array. So now it is searching text here. So I said predefined themes array, and it wasn't able to. This is just this plugin not being good enough. I think if Claude Code was asked to do this, it might have actually gotten it right in the first attempt, or it would have definitely done a better job of this search. And this is just because its own loop, like, this is pretty clear. I mean, I don't need to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I can be more specific than this. So then I have to be like, it's the predefined themes variable in the same file. And now did it get it? It got it, but it did something weird where, again, like, this is just this AI tool. So it did something weird where it didn't define this separately. It just put the definition in here. But let's see how it did for the rest. The rest it did correctly, right? And all this is a very small change, but I just wanted to highlight the kind of process that one might go through. And so, right, all it was just adding these 3 lines to at least begin, right? That's fine. I'll accept these changes for now. Okay, that's fine. And then now it's like, do I just refactor this myself, which is faster to do, or now do I tell it to, like, what am I doing at that point? Like, what are we? This is why I don't necessarily want to use it, because that experience is just, it's not enjoyable. yeah, it's just not enjoyable at all. Like there's no joy in it. I can imagine why, as a non-coder, it would be more appealing because it's making something accessible that completely wasn't accessible. And I absolutely like. I'm for that. Like I like the accessibility aspects that AI brings. I'm happy for more people to be able to produce coded outcomes who do not know code. Like that's not a problem I have.
Or find a friend who can teach you how to code.
Well, isn't AI that friend though? Let's be real here. What are we talking? Like, I think ChatGPT just released like a teaching mode
Oh yeah.
where instead of giving you the answers, it guides you like a friend
Oh,
might
interesting.
towards the answers.
I did not
Uh,
know that. I have
like
to
an
say, I
Mhm.
think the last, I don't know how long, but like initially, like when the hype started, I feel like it's like one thing after another, and now I feel like both myself and a lot of people around me are just like tired of just hearing news about AI. It's just like, okay, what now? So I haven't been following a lot.
That's interesting. It's funny because of I heard some news. I was interested in trying out Claude Code, which then did change
mm,
very concretely how I felt about it. And it's funny to contrast that with what you were just saying about, yeah, but typically, yeah, it is a lot of noise. There's
yeah,
so much noise that's you have to get lucky to get that tidbit of like actual progression.
yeah,
My whole thing is, yeah, if the hype is true, then the world should have already have been changed far beyond what it already has. Like, why are we doing all these things if AI is supposed to come and steamroll? Like, why are there 3,000 AI startups instead of three? Because I thought was supposed to do all that work. You
yeah.
know, like um,
Why do we still have jobs?
I 100% agree. Um, but on the flip side, the reality of the technology is that it is very good for a lot of cases, and the people that are working to improve it turns out are actually improving it. Um, but the people in power, largely corporations and certain governments, will, or maybe all, I don't know, all governments, I don't want to, will likely not use it to serve the public. And so we'll just be expected to do more work instead of enjoy our free time.
Instead of retiring.
Exactly. Like I feel like all
Semi-retiring.
this technology should allow us to do other things,
I know.
but never will capitalist greed be satisfied with any level of improvement unless it absolutely destroys labor and yields whatever results and benefits it wants. Which is it's obviously the capitalist wet dream to have AI do all the work, so they don't have to deal with pesky labor issues and concerns, and can just. But then I'm like, if the machine's going to do everything for you, then like, who's going to buy your shit and for what reason?
Right?
Right? Like, I mean, the further we go into it, there's going to be a reckoning, one way or another. It's going to be slow because this technology is not actually improving that
You
fast.
think
To
it's gonna be slow?
Yeah,
Like, you
yes,
think
it's
it's
not
gonna
improving
be
that
in
fast. To
our lifetime? I feel like it is.
It could be, um, it could be, but it just what sometimes happens. I'm not an economist, so this is just horseshit. What I'm going to say, okay? So I mean, not I mean, a lot of that what economists say is also horseshit. So I guess it's all the same. So I'm not a social political expert, but there's some level of like who gets impacted in a society that drives change sometimes, or where the balance of power is still like, and if it tips over, then maybe there's a reckoning. But if there's some real odd kind of imbalance that people come to accept and move on with, then that reckoning is delayed. So the technology might improve, but the reckoning is delayed as a result of not quite tipping over that point, if that makes sense. So I don't know where that tipping point lies. But definitely AI is only going to remove a certain class of people, which are already fairly privileged compared to other classes of people. So if you're going to look at things like coding, which is like, I mean, developers have been sort of pretty high up the hierarchy in the last little while, alongside anyone who's in that tech ecosystem. So now you have to look at other jobs that have been less valued by, not in terms of the actual value they produce to humanity, but the money value they produce for certain people or corporations and companies and other people. And well, like until there's a mass kind of like, I don't know, you still have farmers, you still have folks that are doing like hard labor work that this will not immediately disrupt.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think I can slowly see it creeping in a lot more directions, and therefore creating a lot more like what like so if you're going to generate value, quote unquote, and then receive all its benefits in terms of monetary benefits, then like what economic ecosystem do we even have when like the rest of the world is not like, yeah, even though this is the capitalist dream, I feel like the inverse of it is you don't have people to exploit in the same way. And so those people, what are they going to do? Just like sit on the sidelines while you like produce things and eat them yourself? Like right now we're too busy because we have to do like all this work to be able to properly organize against um, any like gaps in our system, which is the intent of the system.
Yeah.
But then what happens when we're all equally frustrated with nothing to do and also being shat on? Like you can't have that. Come on. So anyway, um, this is what happens when we do official Friday on a Thursday. I mean, we've had like in betweens on a Thursday, but when you do official Friday on a Thursday, this is what happens, folks. Okay. All right.
We should have added AI to our like title to get more views.
Oh my God! Yes, yes. Thank you. Finally, you're talking about something important for once. So something that matters, which is views and fame. All right. So I've added this. Just look how like I would have been done in like 2 minutes if I'd done it myself. Instead, we got on this tangent about, like it gets worse. That's why I don't want to use AI that deeply. Just, a little bit. But these interactions are just so painful. But again, having said that, Claude Code would have done better because I've done similar things with Claude Code and it's done better and its search would have been better. But yeah, okay. So now I want to register these clicks. And then once I register them, I want them to be stored in these selected themes. Also something I can ask it. You know what I mean? Like it never ends. So instead I will code it like we used to back in my day by hand. Okay. Use his hands to code. Okay, so I'm in store here. I got themes, and maybe it's relevant for me to organize this into a themes file later, but not now. And what I want is, yeah, super simple. Selected themes go inside here, very similar to the selected feelings. And so I'm going to use what we had in the not the journal page, but in the feelings page. I don't know why this search is not working properly. Feelings? There we go. So what did we do? We did the select on the buttons. So I think I could do on click, look for on click here, and we had a select feeling business. And so I just want to replicate that here. So I'm going to do on click equals select theme. And in this case, we'll pass it the theme.name. I do want to change this feeling to name. And then right now, there isn't a very particular thing here, but we do want to do something like this. Variant, I guess, is theme selected. Yeah. I this case I like for it. Like I go, is theme select? This is being generated by AI, which is, very immensely focused and less room for oddities to happen. Style, there's no unique style, so I can skip that, and then we can start coding select theme, which will actually be a lot like select feeling. So I might just end up copying a lot of this. Let me just. I don't love the way I did it here. It's kind of nasty, but it's functional, and I feel like I'm fairly comfortable with replicating that for now. So I'll just copy this bit here, and I'll copy this bit here as well. And then we'll bring it in here. So I'll paste that, and I've brought in selected feeling. And essentially what I want to do is change instances of selected feeling selected feeling to selected theme. That's correct. Okay. And then let's fix the rest. Feeling to theme. Is theme selected? No. CGN theme. I feel like all of this can change. This becomes predefined themes. There's no dot value here. Theme. And then I feel like there's a lot of code we changed without testing anything. But my sense is that should be pretty close to what we want. My sense is incorrect. Did I do it in the right place? Did I save the code? Oh, that's probably why. Maybe, let's see. Okay, so no, it did work. I just had a little extra line here. And then the other thing we want to change is this icon, which I feel like we did in the previous file. So let me take a look there. Square. And yeah, so it's this business here, which I feel like I can copy wholesale. And now that check mark is there, and we get this transition. Fantastic. And now, I'm not sure, Mary, given that we spoke so much about AI, whether you had the chance to play with AI in order to get a conversion between a...
I did.
You did. All right. Do you want to share your screen? Maybe walk us through it quickly, and then I can take over after that.
Yeah, sure. All right. So let me share my screen. It's been a while since I shared my screen.
Mhm.
Um,
Slacker.
yeah, just staring at the screen, So I made a GPT.
Oh, you
um,
made a GPT.
I made a GPT because I feel like creating GPTs is a good way of like making some proof of concepts. So
I'm not sure if we'll be able to leverage it though, because we might be, but maybe continue, and then we can maybe try and convert it.
yeah, I'm not sure. Um, it's probably overkill for what we're doing,
Hmm.
but I just added some instructions on like this is your role. Um, is this a good size? Oh, I can expand it. There we go. So this is the prompt, which is just you are whatever. Your role is to read user submitted journal entries and identify which themes from a fixed list appear to be emotionally relevant. And then I tell it explicitly to use the themes that we have. And the output expected is two lists, high
Hmm.
correlation themes and medium or low correlation themes.
Hmm.
Um, this one I was playing with. We don't have to do this, but I was like, oh, what if like it can also provide some sort of like score relating to each theme identified, but
Okay.
scope
Yeah. Yeah.
scope creep.
Yeah.
And then I tell it to like basically don't add anything else. And then I have a little like sample journal entry that I've been using to like test it. So I will just copy and paste that here. So this is sort of something I've written, but not. So I wrote like 3 paragraphs and I was like, expand on this, make this like a full journal entry. I'm not writing the whole thing. So
Wow.
I'm just gonna send it and see what it does. So it does what I'm asking it to do. What is this? Captured under health. That's not what I asked it to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think what we can do from here. This is pretty good um, to begin. Um, and then I guess I'm wondering how, like, I'm not as familiar with the OpenAI API for us to try and see to use um, a GPT inside GPT versus trying to give it individual prompts and returning. I also don't know what the costs are related. Like, is it cheaper to do it just individual, or is it like cheaper to do it as a GPT? Given a GPT probably pre-processes these things. Let's. I guess I'll begin with the way I know to do it.
Okay.
But
Which is how.
I'm gonna quickly look at the docs. So what is the system called? Would you create a GPT? What does that mean within ChatGPT? How do you even like go to create one?
So I think if you go to let me. I think I should share my other screen. If you go to like I've been using the OpenAI Playground, which I think
You're clicking on something, but it's not on screen. BTW.
sorry, I just need to sign in to my browser version, and I don't want you to see my browser.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, got it. No worries. Understandable.
And of course, there's one-time password.
Yeah, yeah. In the meanwhile, I am in another window looking at um, how to leverage potentially a GPT, like you say?
Trying to remember how. Okay, I don't. I think I actually did not use a GPT when I was playing around with it. Maybe it's just I don't remember. It's been too long.
Mm-hmm.
But the playground is where I was experimenting. I think I used assistant. So if you create an assistant, you can give it system instructions.
And then was your system instruction the thing, I suppose?
Yes. Like
Okay.
essentially like reusing that prompt.
Okay. Okay.
But
I
maybe
might.
there are better ways, you know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, that's fine. It's just for me, I'm trying to get a sense of like what the right or what the closest thing to do is in order to get things functional. So maybe I'll share my screen and we can play around with it until we get a sense of what's happening. Okay. So I'm here, and maybe we can send our circles back to the bottom. So I'm looking at some of OpenAI's docs here, trying to get a sense of like what I should do. So definitely we want structured outputs. Um, and it's actually not immediately clear to me scanning this. Oh, I see. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. So we can definitely do that. OpenAI helpers Zod. Okay, yeah, yeah. And so I think to begin, perhaps we will just use this. And if you could on a Notion page copy paste the prompt that created your GPT, which will go here, and then we can see. The other thing I'm curious to see is what the pricing is for these models at present. I mean, we won't use it that much, so it won't turn out to be a big deal. But this kind of just out of curiosity of like what kinds of models. So there's, I guess, mini and nano. O3 is still around. Because mini is the affordable one. This one is even more. Nano is fastest, cost-effective models for low latency tasks. I should be curious just to try them all out to see. Because we don't need this multi-step problems. That's not what we're dealing with. Okay. Okay. 4.1, and then their example was using 4.0. What does 4.0 do? This is 04. This is 4.0. Where's the... How do I know what the thing is? Aha. It's confusing.
I feel like these model pricing in general have been very confusing.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I don't even know what a token means really, like from a very user perspective, like, or how it impacts things. I just have to be like, okay, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. This is just a snapshot of a model in time, and we could just use 4.0, which is 04, but then that doesn't sound like the one we want because you can have all this AI and still have confusing AI pricing. Remarkable. So I want to go to compare here. There it is. Oh no, 4.0 is different from 04. Got it. Or is it?
Why? Yeah. Why did they? What?
This is 04 mini deep research 04. Then there's 4.0 mini.
What?
And I think what we want based on what I had seen before, something like 4.1 nano or 4.1 mini. We can probably start with 4.1 nano to get a sense of what it is, and then maybe look at 4.1 mini as well. Okay. That's fine. This is the text that I want in order to generate, and then that's helpful. And then let me go ahead and add OpenAI to our backend, and then create an endpoint. Well, first, before creating an endpoint, what I actually want is just a playground. So I'm going to go to my try.ts file so I can try out certain things. This is where I had parsed that CSV file. And then I guess I can just have an OpenAI one where we're just testing out the whole thing from start to end. And then Zod, I believe I already have in the system. So we'll copy these bits here. And really want to use all of this in one way or another. So response.output parsed. It's weird that this doesn't have a line. This should be line 28. Okay, so this stuff will go here, and now I can start playing around with it. So what I want is, looking at my store, I am sending it. Do you have your thing on your prompt on the Notion? You do? I'm going to copy this wholesale, and then we'll just play our way around that. So so there's that. And then
Should it be shorter?
It's fine for now. Maybe it should be shorter, but I mean, I don't think right now it makes that big of a difference. Okay, so we're gonna start using that 4.1. Maybe let's go with, oh, this is nice because I hadn't realized it, but it is giving us, it's typed. So maybe let's use mini to begin. And then we're giving it a prompt. And then here is your example. Oh.
Scroll up to sample journal.
Journal, perfect. Yeah. Thank you. Ugh. That's what it says. I'm just reading. I'm not. Ugh, okay. I'm not. Journal entry. It's giving me a look. It's giving me a.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna actually accept this to start, just for funsies.
Is this AI's feelings?
I guess so. Today was a mixed bag. I had a great time with my friends at the park, but also felt overwhelmed by work. My partner has been supportive, but I feel like I'm losing touch with my hobbies. The weather was nice. Okay. I just want to put the general entry straight up and just see what it does. And then instead of a calendar event, let me just reread I guess I want name and category. So I want oh no. Would you by any chance, Mary, have a screenshot of the results that I'd given you, just so I can base it off of that a little bit in terms of how I structure this while I reread this again. So it's high coloration themes, and the other one is medium low coloration themes. So I guess I can say I want an object with another object which is high coloration themes. This is another interesting use of AI, which is kind of like reading this and trying to get a sense of it. Close, yeah, so it is an array, and I think there's a category here as well. Although we don't necessarily need the category, but since I think it was in Mary's thing, we'll have it here, and then we'll have medium low. You get rid of this. Instead of calendar event, this is going to be correlated. Oops, correlated themes, and that's where we're going to pass it in here. What does it want here? Is this what it expects? I just accepted whatever it was telling me, but let me just look at the docs here. So the object is here, and then what's this? What's math answer? It's the label. Yeah, eyeballing this is not very clear to me. So let me go read the docs again. Is this just a name for this? Okay, let's just try it. So I'm just going to say correlated themes, and we'll leave it at that. And if it doesn't work, we'll come back and we'll modify things. And so then I could just call this results, and we'll simply console.log what we want. Oops. And now I should be able to, no, I don't want that. PNPM tasks. This is server, tasks, try OpenAI. And let's see if that just works out of the box. Seems like it is working. And so it's given us, a sentiment, which we haven't quite decided yet how to integrate. So we'll leave it in here for now, but it does seem like it's giving us low correlation. Yeah, because the weather was kind of like an offhand comment. Okay, so I think what I actually want is something a little different. What I want is straight up an array of themes, and instead of grouping them this way, what I want is an array of this object and give me a high, medium, low. Oops. And so now I'll come back and run this and we'll see what it gives us. Schema must be of type object, got type array, got it. So that's fine. Actually, let me just go back to what it was before. And I'll just call these themes. We'll get rid of this altogether and we'll get the correlation back. And now come back here and run that. And now we just have one array and kind of a high, medium, low connection. And although it seems to have changed already, the responses have changed quite a bit. Or no, yeah. That's fine. And then I think I'm happy with this. Let's try Mary's prompt.
Sorry, I moved it
below. Wow. Ugh. Now actually, I'm not reading. That's me actually reacting to the reorganization. Okay, so we will get rid of this, paste this in here, and then run this for that and see what results we get. Self-care high for health, high for identity, medium for partner, and medium for hobbies. So the way I see this, Mary, is like one, we'll display these in the list, and then we'll have the high ones pre-selected, and the medium and low ones will just be there. And we may or may not use these other values later on, depending on feedback from user. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty good. And now I can go back to this page and kind of, one thing I'll do is also just paste this here so it's saved. Now when I kind of go back, like it's in there, and now I can test with this. So what I want is on click here, I want it to go to the server, run this bit of code, and then get me the results. Okay, so let's set that up.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Without LLMs, how would you do something like this?
Without what? Pardon me?
Without like something like
LLMs? Oh, got it. Okay. It becomes much harder, to be honest. Like, there are tools for sentiment analysis that have used other AI other than LLMs. Like a lot of the social media companies for tweets, for Facebook posts to have used sentiment analysis. People use sentiment analysis to do, comment processing, to be like, hey, what are abusive comments on a comment stream and so forth. And, LMs are probably generally better at that work, more ambiguous, but better. There's also ways to extract tags from text, which isn't LLM based. So I would probably lean on one of those systems if they were available. If not, then it's too much work to kind of like, how am I supposed to map sentiment analysis on random text? That seems like a lot of work, based on machine learning largely, versus LLMs. Yeah, I wouldn't do it, I guess the answer. So we're call this analyze journal. It wants to write the whole code for me, so I'm just going to accept what it's giving me, and then we'll worry about this later. It's done a pretty decent job. I told you guys, it's getting better. On a separate window, I'm going to open my code that we actually had. Copy this bit here so that we have the prompt in here. One thing I realized that this prompt, what this journal entry doesn't have, is we haven't passed in. So this will be broken. We haven't passed in these to maybe hint to the AI what mood this person is already in. And so let me see. We'll get it working right now as is, and then we'll inject that in a second, and then we'll see how it starts feeling. So that's our prompt there. And then let's see if the rest of the code here. So it seems like it's done something that isn't really applicable, because I think we were expecting something like this and not what it has given us. Even now, it's not very happy because it's done some different things here. So let's just replace it with what we actually want. And then copy this bit here as well. Correlated themes. For now, that can go here. And again, yes, absolutely, this should be refactored to be somewhere else, but not a big deal right now. And the last, we want our result here. And honestly, we can just return that. And cool, so it is typed. Fantastic. Now that we have this backend endpoint, analyze journal mutation. Let's see if we can't use it in the journal.view file over here. And I will actually need, because it's not in my mind at all, how to use TRPC, even though I used it to build other things. It's actually not at all in my mind. So I'm just going to copy this code from here. And we'll want to do something like this here. We'll just say result for now. And then instead of hello, this is going to be analyze journal. And the text is going to be the journal entry. And the result are the themes. I'm actually thinking maybe they should be on the next page. Because I have to store these somewhere. I have to store these somewhere. Also, there's an error here. Oh yeah, because this is a mutation. This is it still doesn't like it because string are undefined. What's the error here? If current mood snapshot dot journal entry dot length. Let me actually just do this. If it exists, that's good enough for now. And is that enough to quell? That won't work. It is not enough to address whatever concerns it has here, so I'm going to have to read this. Yeah, I'm confused. Immediately, I kind of want to take a look at the honeypot code to see how use mutation is used. We're not using it anywhere. Use query is used. We are mutating, so I guess I think I never ended up saying use mutation. I always ended up saying mutate. So, and now that works. Or at least it doesn't have an error. Like, it's one of those things where, I'm not using gRPC on a day-to-day basis, so it's not really internalized in my heart. And when I could look at the docs or, look at a working example versus trying to determine this. There's something that, if you had a friend who was teaching you how to code, he or she might repeat over and over, be like, look at a working example and see what's different. And so
what is gRPC?
gRPC is the library that we're using in order to get data from the backend into our front end. And it simplifies this thing. But yeah, it's just I'm not as familiar with this API. Even though we did use it with Honeypot quite a bit, haven't thought about it or use this. I like the library because it makes things easier. But yeah, I don't have this internalized. Versus like an if statement or like a loop. Fairly internalized those concepts, right? Okay, so I'm thinking, how do I store this in order to pass it to the next thing? And then I'm thinking, why even store it? Also, is this a promise? It is a promise. Cool. Yeah, I think I can just store it here somewhere. And yeah, it does belong in my mood snapshot, and it can be suggested themes. And this code here has gotten a bit unwieldy, but I am not interested in fixing it. So this is what it'll be for now. And then here, I want to say, so we'll do this. First of all, we'll do this where we'll make icon optional. And then B, go here, take a look at the data format that we're getting back. It's name, category, sentiment, and correlation. So name and category are already there. I can have a type for suggested theme. That is essentially theme and this, sentiment and category. And then here we'll say suggested theme. Okay. And then suggested themes are what we display on the other page, but now here I would get that result and then populate current mood snapshot dot suggested themes with result dot themes. Okay, so it doesn't like this. So then I guess I would have to just do result. It doesn't like that either. Oh, that is possibly no. That's fine. If it is, we should probably have some error here, but for now, that's fine. We get it, we populate it, we go to the next themes page, and then when I go to themes.view, now instead of using, so this is going to break. First of all, so this should be a v if there is an icon at all. And then here for theme and themes, which is all of predefined themes, I actually want it to be based off of suggested themes. And if there are no suggested themes, here is like it says it's going to show predefined themes. Let's see what this does. I don't know if this will work at all, even. That's not the button I'm supposed to click on. I'm supposed to click on this, but my heart really wanted to, so badly wanted to click on this to move on. Just some user feedback. Yeah, so I did a poor job of copy pasting, and then I did a poor job of accepting whatever AI was giving me, both. And the issue is over here, where I use messages, because that's what AI auto-completed for me, instead of just actually copy pasting. And let me just quickly look to eyeball everything else to see if it looks legitimate. It does so far. And that's good enough for us to try again. Continue. So it seems like it's running, but that's a long time for it to run for without any kind of a response. This thing returned a response fairly quickly. Oh no, we got it. That took a long time, 15 seconds? Anyway, note that once we refresh here, these values persist because we've stored them in our kind of in the snapshot altogether. So we're gonna look at why it took 15 seconds, and then we're gonna need some kind of loader indicator. But not too worried about that right now. What I would want, if I select this and I refresh, so I need to fix that. Sorry. What I was trying to get a sense of here is if I go to, let's say, the feelings page, I should use this back button. My feelings aren't pre-selected here, but they are here because I noticed that on this page where, oh no, it's going to OpenAI again. That was faster. These seem a bit different. They are different. These are not on the list exactly.
Yeah, I think it's like mushing
Adding
the
personal
theme and the category together. Like personal is the category.
I see. Yeah, let me double check the format we have here. Name, category. Okay, well, this is not. And then we'll come here, and then we'll try and. It is meshing them together. I wonder if I can tell it to. For the output, name, I can't do that. Name is the theme name, category is the theme category. Just, trying to give it a little bit more instruction here. I want to go back. I actually haven't hooked up the back button on the themes page. So now when I go back and I click here, let's actually do it just for my own thing. So if I go in journal, prime view, I need to look at the button thing to see how it handles loading, because this is also not in my heart. It's pretty straightforward here. So we will do that for this continue skip button, where we'll have a loading indicator, and we'll do that. And loading true. Actually, we don't want to do that here. We want to do it here. So that when I come back here and I click, there's at least some feedback of something loading. It did not take this long when we ran it through the command line. It certainly did not feel like 15 seconds. Let me quickly see if there's something we can do for speed and what's different between this code here. There's probably something different. Maybe it's the model that we used. And then if I go into my router, no, model's the same. What if we use nano here instead? If I go back, oh, okay, it's just refreshing. If I go back, I click through. Now we're using the nano model that did feel faster, but we got fewer results. Let's try again.
It's a toss-up.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a variety of results each time, which is fine. Like, that's expected.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Are the name and category are they supposed to be strings or should they be like a predefined list? And would that have any impact?
I'm not sure how you mean. Like you mean the like these over
Yeah.
here, whether
Yeah,
they
because
should be.
like
I think it's fine for them to be strings.
okay.
No, is that
Yeah.
not?
I guess I'm just more thinking like if we have a predefined list of themes, would it make it easier of like, oh, like I don't need to like reinvent the wheel?
But we do have a predefined list of themes. No, like you mean we just always display the full theme list? I'm not.
Like for example, mental health anxiety, I'm pretty sure that's
It's
not
not on the
on
list.
there.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was double checking here, but while you were talking, I was actually like double checking here. And so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit more strict. Initially, I'm just going to hard code it to um, to be easier for me, but um, uh, let's see if it knows. Let's verify this, and this we should be able to get from other places in the code. So there is duplication right now, and that's fine. Children, partner, family, friends. Yep. Work, education, community. That looks fairly correct to me. So I think we'll start it here by giving it a more strict list of things that it will expect here, and hopefully it picks up on this. And we'll do the same thing here to ensure that we are getting the categories that we want. And let's go back. Yeah, it's going to reload. We could try it a few times just to see what kinds of responses we get. And now it should be a bit more fluid and concrete. We can also tell it, something like,
Like minimum, maximum.
yeah. I do like one theme in high correlation list if possible, and 5 themes in total. Okay, I mean, let's see again. Here I'm trying to see if it now is always returning 5. Yeah, let's switch to mini.
Is that what you want?
No, I said 5 themes
Minimum, right?
minimum in total, right? Like I feel like that's a. So I'm hoping for it to at least give me 6 in one of the tries, or more.
Okay.
7. Okay, that's good. I thought those 2 prompts were pretty much this. Oh, I did change this to mini, so maybe that's impacted. Okay, that's fine. I think now what we'll do is we'll try and get the pre-selected thing in there. So here's the list of selected themes. We can additionally do this where we go const suggested theme names. is equal to this, and then pre-populate this. So now let's additionally just do some debugging up here so we can understand what this looks like. Do I want to do the full current mood snapshot? No, probably not. Current mood snapshot dot suggested themes. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense because I didn't filter. So we want to filter here. So here's a map. Prior to the map, dot filter. I actually want theme dot correlation high. Is it happy here? Is it this? Yep. And now, yep, that looks good. And now I can additionally add or remove. My icons are gone because I'm using suggested themes straight up. What I want is, instead of that, here I want something like themes to display, and then have current mood snapshot dot suggested themes dot question mark. Oops. Yeah, question mark goes here dot map, and then I want what I want. Let me just write the surrounding code first. What I want is themes to display, find the predefined theme correct, and I think we can just return the predefined theme. And now, yeah, let's find the suggested themes. I don't have them. Oh, yeah, they come from here. That is a little complex. That's fine. And now we're getting those icons. Although I did think self-care had an icon. That's fine for now. Refresh. If I select this and I refresh, so maybe selected thing. I actually won't worry about this because it's a bug on the other page as well.
That looks so good.
Oh, cool. Just like you intended. The other thing is it says feel free to add anything else. But how am I supposed to add it? And what I wouldn't mind here, Mary, perhaps, is we can like some kind of indicator to show the rest,
Mhm.
and then we could show the rest here maybe.
Okay, I need to write this down so
Yes.
I don't come back
So do
empty-handed next time.
homework list, yeah, and then do it in the background. Um, and then what we'll do next time as we come back is I'll fix this bug on refresh on both this page and this page, so it feels, persistent. And then we'll work on finishing this. And the thing that I alluded to maybe a few sessions ago, which is we still want to store this on the browser side, maybe using on the browser under application, we have access to an index DB. I don't know the details of how to use this precisely. I don't know like a lot of things about it, but there'll be some learning that we do. If I get time, I might do that, some of that learning off stream, but my guess is that we'll probably end up doing part of that learning on stream and kind of just discovering how to get these individual rows stored on the browser side. And then, we have kind of a working flow of kind of end to end, including, processing this with a prompt, getting the results. And then once we have kind of this end to end flow with just at least this list part, maybe the calendar can be pending for now. Then we can try and do the voice aspect of it as well, and the voice to text conversion, which browsers offer, but I'm also not familiar with. So we'll do some discovery there.
Honestly, I like if I have to choose between the voice thing and I guess the other path of it's complicated, I'd probably want to handle the complicated path.
Okay, let's do that first then. So let's quickly review that before we move on, which is the is complicated path here. Takes us straight to our text thing. And then over here, it sounds like, so now we have another prompt here, correct?
It needs to like process feelings too.
Yes. So great. I guess you have 2 bits of homework, which is the kind of the thing that you want in terms of, the input output and the prompts that you want, or the feelings that return the set of feelings that you want based on the inputted text, which then leads us to here, which is interesting because I'm not sure. The thing that we didn't do, another note for next time, is we never passed through these. So that's something we can do. And then I guess that makes sense on the submission. Now we're going to pass in both this group of information and this information to get this result set. Okay,
it's just so now different like
order. Yeah, that's fantastic. So now we do have a flow. We have a structure for bugging OpenAI, and we'll take it from there for next time. Any notes, Mary?
It's cool. I'm excited.
All right, awesome. So I think that's all we have for this Thursday episode of Product Like It's Friday. It's not an in between. It's an official. Not that anyone in the world cares, but it's an official Product Like It's Friday episode on a Thursday because we're busy tomorrow. Okay, for the first time in 8 months, we're gonna be busy on a Friday. Okay, so read into that what you think it means. But we'll see you at a random time, most likely next Friday, or a rescheduled time, maybe on Thursdays now. We're gonna be peel it. It's gonna. We're gonna need a rebranding. The whole thing's coming. I can see it. Okay. Any other notes, Mary?
No, I think that's it.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on this session. And okay, let's go home, everyone.